To create as much speed as possible, backstrokers have to create as much propulsion as possible. But because they're on their back, that's a lot easier said than done. To create as much speed as possible, backstrokers have to create as much propulsion as possible. And the more continuously they can create propulsion, the faster they will go. However, that's much more difficult to do on the back. Let's find out why. Hi everyone, Andrew here, helping you help your swimmers get faster. In backstroke, when a swimmer applies pressure to the water with one arm, they create propulsion with that arm. After finishing the pull on one side, they then transition to the pull on the other side, and they have another opportunity to create propulsion. While swimmers perceive that they're constantly creating propulsion with their arms, and coaches perceive that too when watching swimmers, that's not necessarily the case. There's going to be a gap between when one arm finishes and the next starts. And the bigger the gap, the more difficult it is for swimmers to create speed. And unlike in freestyle, it's very difficult for backstrokers to change their timing to make sure that their propulsion is more continuous. Why is that the case? Because swimmers are on their back and the upper body has limitations in range of motion. In order to effectively create propulsion, swimmers have to get their arm into the water. The only way they can do that is by rotating. The problem then becomes when one side is rotated down, the other side is rotated up. So it becomes very, very challenging to get both arms in the water at the same time in positions where they can effectively create propulsion. So that's why rotation timing becomes so important, and better swimmers are able to rotate very quickly and rotate very effectively in order to minimize those gaps in propulsion. When swimmers don't get their rotation timing down, there's going to be more time between propulsive cycles, and that's going to slow swimmers down. Let's take a look at how to execute effective propulsive timing to minimize the gaps in propulsion to create as much speed as possible. So the first key point here is to identify the importance of being on the side in order to get the arm in position to create propulsion. So if we watch here, he's going to enter the water more or less flat. He's quickly going to get on his side. And now you can see, now he's starting to position his arm to create propulsion. Now imagine if he was rotated to the other side and trying to use that same right arm to set up the stroke. It's impossible. Even if he was flat here and he tried to get his arm facing backwards, his arm is just going to come out of the water. So swimmers have to rotate down in order to get their arm in position to create propulsion. Now, of course, if they rotate to the right, it's going to be very difficult to do anything on the left in terms of keeping the arm underwater in a position that they can still create propulsion. So let's watch it through that cycle. So right about here, you can see the elbow starting to drive back. This frame here, he's starting to create propulsion. He's starting to apply pressure on the right side. If you look at the left arm, his hand's like this. He's just lifting it out of the water. His arm is still in the water, but he's no longer in a position where he can effectively create propulsion. So now he's applying pressure, doing a great job. He's staying on that side. You can still see he's on his side, even though he's starting to kind of come away from it. But then right here, he starts to move towards the other side. And you can see, look at that big surface area that he's got on his right arm. He's creating a lot of propulsion there with that right side. But he gets to here, there's not much happening at all. He's pretty much let go of the water. The arm is straight, the arm is deep, but he's not moving water backwards. And now he gets right into it on the other side. And so again, that loss of propulsive position, it corresponds when he's rotating away from that side, and that prevents him from maintaining a good position to create propulsion, but that allows him to transition to the other side. And now, again, he's in position right here, starting to create propulsion on the left side, but there was that gap from probably right around there. He's no longer doing much with that right arm. It's unlikely that he's still creating propulsion. And then he's going to be here, he's creating propulsion now with the left side. So there is that gap between the two arms. Now, the faster swimmers can rotate from this position to there and then get into the stroke right away. So watch him, he hits the water, boom, he's in position almost immediately. So he's doing an excellent job of minimizing the gap by rotating very quickly to the other side. But the better swimmers do with that, the less time there's going to be in between strokes. And so this is a world champion over 50 meters. And so obviously, if he wants to create as much speed as possible, he has to be very, 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 very good at minimizing those gaps. So still creating propulsion on the left side. He's still down a little bit on the left side. That last little bit right there is probably the most propulsion he's going to get out of that arm. There may be a very, very small amount that's still left over. But again, That's where he's going to finish. But there, boom, now he's on his right side and he's already in position to create propulsion on the right side. And so the rotation timing is key because it allows swimmers to get into position to create propulsion. If they're not rotated down, they can't do it. And again, it's not about a lot of rotation. They just need to be down to that side so that they can keep the arm underwater in a position that they can move water backwards with. And the faster that can happen, the faster that transition is. So as soon as he is no longer able to apply propulsion on the right side, he's switching quickly to the left side. And again, the faster swimmers can do that, the more effectively they can do that, the better the timing, the shorter that gap is going to be. And so at much slower speeds and much less skilled swimmers, there's going to be a bigger gap because there's not quite as much urgency to quickly slam into the other side and then quickly rotate it. And so if we watch it at faster speeds, you can see how he slams in and he quickly rotates through. He's finishing on the left side and then quickly shifting to the right. And that allows him, again, keep that gap as small as possible so that he can maintain as much speed as possible. Whenever there's the gap, there's going to be a loss in speed. And so the smaller the gap, the smaller the drop. And then that average speed is going to be a lot faster. So one more time at full speed, you can see how he slams through it, quickly rotates to the other side, and that allows him to maintain as much continuity in terms of the propulsion as possible. Now, different swimmer, same idea. Look at that position that she's achieved. She's on her left side. She's rotated down. Huge surface area moving backwards. She's holding on to it. And then right there, that's probably the end of it. She's kind of, you can look at her hand position. She's got her hand facing in now. It's not facing back. So she's just trying to lift the arm out of the water. It's still under the water, but it's not creating propulsion at this point. And she's quickly gotten into the left side. She started to rotate to the left side. She hasn't set up the stroke, but watch how fast she gets over there. So on her left side and then boom, on her right side. So as soon as she stops creating propulsion on the left, she's into it on the right. And then again, by this point, she's applying pressure. She's creating propulsion on that side. So swimmers have to be really, really good at waiting, because if she rotates away from this too soon, she's going to miss out on propulsion. But then once she's ran the course of that left side, she's got to quickly get over to the right and do so really quickly. And again, that minimizes that gap in propulsion, which allows her to create more speed. So she's boom on the other side again. So right arm pull, really effective there. That's kind of the end of it by that point. So now she's quickly on her left, setting it up. Now she's applying pressure. So quickly switching from side to side to minimize those gaps in propulsion to maximize the speed she can create. So at fast speeds here, again, you can see driving in, driving in, driving in, driving in, driving in. And again, that allows her to quickly get in position because she has to get onto that side to create propulsion. And that's what's tough about backstroke. In freestyle, that doesn't necessarily have to happen. Swimmers can create propulsion regardless of where their body is rotated. And in backstroke, they do have to be on that side. But they can't be on both sides at the same time. So they've got to quickly switch and quickly transition between sides so that they can be as continuous with their propulsion as possible. So one more swimmer here. We're going to watch it from a different angle. So right now, she's finishing the pull on the left side. You can see she's rotated down to that side. She's right about to enter on her right side. And then at this point, she's pretty much out of propulsion on that left side. You can see that the arm is fully straight. The hand is now facing towards us. And she's just going to basically lift the arm out. And then boom, quickly gets onto the left side. And then she's quickly in a position to create propulsion. So setting it up here, now she's applying pressure. She's staying on that left side. And now she's finished the stroke. You can see that. She lets go of it right there. Now she's fully on her left side. She hasn't started to apply pressure yet. Now she's setting up the stroke and now she's letting it go. And so that gap is pretty small. And then she's doing a really good job. And this is a world record holder. There's a reason that she's that fast. But again, she finishes it here. She gets onto the left side quickly and then starts applying pressure. So there's going to be a small gap. It's still going to be there, but the faster she can rotate to the other side, the faster she can switch over, the smaller that gap's going to be. And that is how swimmers can navigate the challenge of swimming on the back and managing the constraints and range of motion of the upper body. The more effectively they can do that, the more effectively they can organize the whole stroke, the more effectively they're going to be able to create speed. So again, quick shift right there, no longer creating propulsion on that left side. Now she's creating propulsion on the right side. And again, finishes there and then starts to set it up on the left side and then create propulsion there. And so a key point is the first movement of the arm is not necessarily when she's creating propulsion. That's when she's starting to set up the stroke. When she starts applying pressure backwards, right about here, that's where she's really starting to apply propulsion. So the left side stops creating propulsion right about there. She has not started to do anything on the right side. Now she's setting up the stroke, and now she's starting to apply pressure. So there's going to be that gap, but the faster swimmers can rotate quickly from side to side, drive into the entry, quickly set up the stroke, the more speed they're going to be able to create. For more on how to improve backstroke timing, check out the video below.